They're children. It is the worst form of betrayal. Without that trust, their entire lives are damaged. Here's another opportunity. Everything's an opportunity. Every miserable story we tell is an opportunity to step up. And if you don't, your enemies will take it as a sign of weakness and cowardice and stupidity, and they'll keep pushing. Last one. And it's to do with abused children remaining with their abusers. Now, it's not unusual for the family court to return abused children to their abusers or directing the children to remain with their abusers. Why is that? Doesn't make sense, does it? Well, in a fair and just world, it wouldn't. But this ain't that. It seems to be an apparent prevalence in the legal profession to protect pedophiles. Now, we know that. We've had it at the highest level. Royal Commissioner. If we reveal these pedophile names, it will erode trust in the judicial system. Well, there is no trust in the judicial system. We know exactly what's going on. The weak-kneed lawyers want to stay in good with the judges, so they smile and nod to the judge no matter how insane the assessment is. And so the legal profession protects pedophiles. Secondly, children are not able to communicate their abuse due to a sense of betrayal, fear and shock. Just can't do it. They're confused. They're children. It is the worst form of betrayal. Without that trust, their entire lives are damaged. Now, here's a little secret that nobody in the criminal justice system wants to admit, but just about something like in excess of 90% of men in prison, the ones that are recidivists, that they're constantly back, were sexually abused as boys. Classic case, Chopper Read. Yeah, Chopper famously said once, "I'm not a hard man, but I've broken some men that thought they were." That was Chopper Read, mad as a cut snake, abused as a boy. And this is the great line nobody wants to let out. Independent children's lawyers are appointed to look after the interests of the child. Well, I've seen firsthand where the ICL didn't even interview the child, had no idea of the child. And this bloated female wandered in a minute before the trial and spouted off, this is in the best interest of the child, had no interest. They have no interest in it. It's a money-making business. See, divorce lawyers, with a few exceptions, and I mean this sincerely, with very few exceptions, but there are some, they're the lowest rung. They're loathsome. It's a game. One of my many idiot lawyers actually said to me, "Oh, I don't take much interest in my kids. My wife does that." Well, I'm there struggling for my own son's well-being. That's the level of stupid the lawyers have. He's now a judge, by the way. Terrific.
Great. Well done.
Why else? Why else do abused kids go back to their abusers? Because there's no recognition of the child's abuse. Why? Because the parents perjure themselves over and over and over again to enhance their case against the innocent party. Now, good old Julia Gillard made perjury a non-issue in the family court because there were so many of these ridiculous allegations that they just ignore it. But you throw enough mud, it sticks. And so there you go. The child's abuse isn't investigated. The child's abuse doesn't become an issue because it's just another allegation. It's just another allegation. Mm. And so the good people, men and women, suffer at the hands of the liars that make these allegations in order to win the case. And that's facilitated by the lawyers, because the lawyers have a checklist of issues that if the judge sees it, they'll go, well, I was going to side with one side rather than the other. Mm. We're going to bring back that perjury aspect to family law. You lie, you go to jail.
Good.
We're also going to introduce, like the Canadians do, psychological assessment for both parties before the process begins, because some people are just insane. And I remember one friend telling me the affidavit that was submitted, and he went through the issues were being questioned by the lawyer and all these ridiculous allegations, and he just kept batting it back. And this is, well, here's evidence that that's wrong. Here's evidence that that's wrong. Here's evidence that was wrong. And at the end of it, the lawyer just rolled her eyes and said, "She's nuts." There's a technical description. The answer is yes. And the psychologist who interviewed this individual's wife in order to understand what counselling the child might need, came to the same conclusion. Pauline Hanson tried to have family law reviewed. It was knocked back. She failed in that attempt. Why? There's a whole bunch of reasons. It's a money spinner for the lawyers. It creates the broken families. Pauline Hanson tried to have it reviewed, and that failed because it's a money spinner for the lawyers. It achieves the objectives of the globalists, which is destroy the family unit, because they need to break the family unit in order to break society so they can take it over. As a side benefit for the pedophiles, see, single mums then become overwhelmed, and so the pedophile will befriend the single mum, over time establish a high level of trust, and then one day he says, look, and sometimes she, because they're female pedophiles too, oh look, take the day off, I'll take the kids to the zoo. And she gratefully says yes. It's called farming. It's part of the pedophile process. They ingratiate themselves, get trust, and then it's called farming because they need new kids. And then they abuse the kids are traumatized one more time, they're broken, and away you go. And so it's a sick area of law. Nobody cares about it. Fathers committing suicide at an alarming rate as a result of it. And if men were the violent animals that we are portrayed to be, they take it on the wives. But guess what? They take it on themselves. That's right. They self-destruct.
That's right.
And that loathsome Eva Cox, hero to the ABC communists, when told that men were committing suicide at a greater rate than women, said at least they're getting something right. Oh. And this was put on an Australian stamp by Julia Gillard, Queen of the Baby Killers. So you get my drift here, folks. You need to wake up. You need to understand that unless you want a moral country, it's not going to happen. Unless you speak up, nothing's going to change. This is how it descends into barbarity, pre-biblical barbarity. If you want a moral country, you have to start acting, folks.